Okay.
How's everything with the museum?
It's going okay. Yeah, we're open to the public. Like our galleries are open, but we're still not allowed to have visitors behind the scenes yet. So we're getting about 25 to 40% capacity in
Yeah,
terms of visitors to view the public galleries. But like the rest of the country, things are, cases are going up, hospitalizations are going up. So they're starting to issue more restrictions. So we'll see how long we stay open
I
here.
actually just signed
So,
up with like an event you're having because my friend is helping with the Marshallese.
oh yeah,
Stephanie, I
that's
don't know if you know Stephanie.
yes, I do know Stephanie. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
my
so
homegirl.
that, oh, good, good. Yeah, that's tomorrow, I think, right?
Yeah, I think
Or
so.
much later. Oh, good, good.
Um,
Excellent.
you
Well, do
know,
you want to jump right into it? You want to start with like your list
yeah,
of
no,
items, or
that would be really great. And again, like I wasn't really sure how much we would be able to go through with like the time we have.
yeah,
I think I kind of just I said it in my email, but that like it's more just like I kind of ordered it in terms of priority. But again, I'm more
sure.
concerned, or like I'm more into like wanting to look at the ones that don't seem to be reflected well in the images. I mean, and
Sure.
so yeah, that would
Yeah.
be really great.
Okay. We
Yeah.
could do that. I pulled out a number of items, sort of starting with the ones you listed at the top of your list,
Okay.
and we can kind of go there and see how far we get, and then I may need to take like a brief break just to create
Yeah.
more space, at
Sure.
points. But we can see how far we can get in an hour and a half, and then, if we need to schedule another time to finish or keep
Yeah.
going, we can do that certainly. So
Yeah. For sure. I appreciate it. And yeah, and anytime you need to, maybe stop or take a break or go to the bathroom,
sure, yeah, no,
just
it
feel
should be
free
good.
to let
So
me know too, and I'll do the same as well.
okay, sounds good. Yeah, and feel free to speak up if I'm going, if I'm moving the camera too fast or
Yeah.
whatnot. You want me
Yeah.
to slow down? You want me to zoom in? Whatever, just direct me and I can try to accommodate
Okay.
whatever you want me to do. So
Thank you, Jamie.
I'll flip things around here. How are things there?
It's okay. It's a little bit
Yeah.
challenging just because for me, it's like like working in the shops is kind of not the same. So we're
Yeah.
just kind of making the most out of everything, and yeah, it's a little challenging to be honest. I'm trying to make
Yeah.
most of my work. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. So these are the two um, baskets that were at the top. Samalong. I'm not sure if that's the correct pronunciation, but
Yeah.
um, there's one here and then the other one. And there's a third one further down on your list that I pulled as well. And that's the number assigned to that one. And this number is very similar in case you need to reference it. It's 128612.
Are you using a phone camera, Jamie?
It's a iPad.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering if you can get, like, I'm more into the weaving and kind of like
Yeah,
a little bit closer on the weaving. Thank you.
sure.
Thank you so much. I know you said you took them out. I was curious about the storage of these. Did they stored in like kind of a?
Yeah, no, so they're just on open shelving. So the storeroom is an older storeroom. It dates to the 1970s. So it's not quite up to the standards that we have for what we would do today. So ideally, we'd have this in compactorized storage. So it would close the, sort of like a modern library where the shelving aisles sort of close in on each other. And so that helps sort of keep things stable. It keeps light off of the collections. It keeps dust, water hazards off of them. So yeah, I'll show you where they're stored, which is I think actually right up on the shelf here is where they typically go. So they're just, a lot of the collections are sort of loose and packed in here. So that would be ideal, would be to give these a little bit more breathing space. And some of them have been housed in these like trays or boxes,
Okay.
like this fish trap. So that's kind of what we do just to kind of stabilize things. So, you know, if you have to handle an item, you're handling the tray instead of the item itself, and the tray does all the work for you in terms of trying to handle it mostly. So that's what we do. And we work with communities too. So like some communities prefer that we don't use synthetic materials in how we house things. So we'll use all natural materials like cotton or paper or board, as opposed to some of these have like polyethylene foam supports
Okay.
to keep them from rolling around. So when we work with communities and traditional care housing of the items, then we'll
Yeah. No,
house
that's
them
cool.
differently. So
I've actually seen photos of this before too. It's so interesting to see it also like right now because I think I don't know like Lane or like Minicanor. They had like shared
mhm.
some photos from when they
Okay.
visited. So now we're looking at this one. Is this the Gingon? Is this kind of like more the? Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
it's one of the two
yeah,
fish traps.
fish traps. Okay.
Yeah, so this one is a contemporary. I think this came through Bukidnon State University. So they made a donation during one of their visits to the collections, and they had a team of researchers who were connecting with some of the elders among the Bukidnon and
Yeah,
doing research with the collections that we have here. And so they graciously donated contemporary items um, about 6 years ago, I think it is now.
I see.
So this is one of the fish traps. And then behind it is a more historic one that was collected probably by the Field Museum anthropologists back in the early 20th century.
Wow. Okay. Um, and this one is completely like the older one. I was wondering if that was like actually used, right? That was like
I would imagine so. Yeah, I think the usually the anthropologist would take all their field notes and observations while living with communities and sort of like daily life activities, like fishing, for instance, and then they would purchase the items or barter the items. Some of the catalog cards will have how many
yeah.
pesos were paid
Okay.
for items like that.
Can you look at the newer one that was donated
Yeah,
to BSU? I'm curious in the weaving
sure.
kind of also in that bottom, yeah, that kind of part. Yeah, I'm just kind of also, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
I was curious, was there ever like, did you ever have a show with the Bukidnon I guess when you had that book, right? Was there a show for that?
Yeah, so it was a an exhibit that they put together. So they worked with us and we photographed most of the Bukidnon items, and then we gave them the photographs, and they did a photography exhibition. Essentially, I mean, it was a 2D show, so they didn't borrow the actual items, but they showed it at Bukidnon State University there, and the catalog was a result of that as well.
I see.
And then they came here and we brought out items for a couple of programs or events. So we didn't do an actual formal exhibit, but we did more programs and events where we brought collections out. And then, they graciously did performances um, in conjunction with those programs and talked about the collections as well that they had researched with the communities there.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that the Gingon, yeah, that I think we're good.
Okay, okay, great. I'll go back to where we started. And do you want to see more of these
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
Samalan?
yeah, please. I would love
Okay,
to. I think maybe now you can go actually a little kind of more the other one.
this one here.
Yeah,
Okay.
that one. Um,
That one has looks like a hole in it.
have you ever done like 3D scanning with these things? I was curious.
Not these. We've done different types of 3D scanning with like CT scans and laser scanning um, and white light scanning. Um, one of our conservators sort of, and we've done photogrammetry, but
Oh yeah,
not of these specific items. So
yeah. Can you look at the bottom? I just want to see like that stick that connects to the bottom. I'm just curious and
sure.
how like
Do you want
structurally that. Okay,
do you
yeah,
want me to flip? Okay.
yeah. I think that's great. Okay, thank you.
Okay, sure. Anywhere else you want me to focus in on, or do you want me to move to the third one that we have
Yeah, I think
over here?
we can move on to the Bangkasa if that's okay. Yeah.
Sure. Simple casa.
Yeah, I'm really
626.
interested with the forms of these two, just to kind of also just the way, I feel like a lot of that is also like with other tribes in the Philippines, they also kind of have like similar, and I'm kind of like also like looking into the similarities with other
Okay.
tribes. And this one is the
So this is another
Samalang.
Samalan.
See, like it's like a different kind of also like smaller kind of weaving.
Yeah, it's a little tighter.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, I'm really curious too, and what level even if it's even possible to even like. I mean, I know it's the circumstances is different, but I was like wondering if it wasn't if like 3D scanning these objects would kind of be kind of possible. Does that ever happen?
Yeah,
Do projects like that have like has ever been done in your museum?
we have. I mean, we're open to ideas. I mean, we'll have researchers that sometimes they'll have tabletop like laser scanners that will do 3D imaging, and so we welcome folks to bring those in because they're portable. And I'm not sure if this piece would. I'm not sure what the size limit on those are. I'm sure it sort of varies a little bit, but that's an option. Or folks may want to do photogrammetry too.
Yeah.
So those are a couple of options that when we can resume research visits and visits to the collections again, folks that have that we can certainly do. We don't have any ongoing programs right now to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
We have some of the equipment, but just because we have other
Priorities.
programs going on right now, kind of have our plates full, so we haven't
Yeah,
embarked on that yet.
I hear you. No, thank you. I think we're good with that one.
Okay. And then the Bancasa, see if I can find that.
I was curious too, the Bangkasa and again maybe other like ritualist items. I was curious if
Uh-huh.
there is a like a different level of care. Like, I mean, I'm not really
No.
familiar with anthropology like practices, to be honest. But
Yeah.
I was curious if like if certain objects were, let's say like for ritual, or is there any kind of differentiated in terms of the care for it, or
If communities where these come from, the descendant communities where these come from, if they request it, we can work out with them, what that should look like. Like we do it with our, say, for like our some of our Native North American material. When we work with specific tribes or First Nations, they'll request that specific items be either separated from other items or housed in a specific way, or limit access to them, or request that if there is request for access, that we go to them first, and then
yeah,
they actually have the visitors get in contact with those um, individuals for access. Sometimes we'll put items behind like a muslin curtain in storage,
okay,
especially if they shouldn't be viewed. So it really depends on the specific communities where
yeah,
these items were made and used.
I hear
But
you.
we're open to that. So
Yeah,
just the Bancasa, I'm just yeah. So it's all in pieces right now. It's sort of tied together.
okay.
So
Yeah, I hear you, because I think for that project I was like trying to do, I was kind of, that's why it's important for me to also be in communication with the elders of Mount Kitanglad, because I feel like it's specific objects, and I know like for this, for example, I know it's like for like ritual use, and I wonder, on the level of like how, because this project is much more also like like, you know, contextualized through like more like an art project, but also like culturally how to kind of move about with it, like with the sensitivity to kind of, because I know, you know, there is that kind of dimension to it that I have to consider, especially if the elders say, well, it's not really something that you can use or work with.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Something.
No, understood. Yeah. And if they're willing to, we're open to, if folks have information and knowledge they would like us to know, we're open to receiving that and incorporating
Yeah.
that. So yeah, if they share something with you and they're okay with you sharing it with us,
Totally.
we're happy to add that to our information.
I think right now we're like figuring out more like communications. Actually, I'm trying to help them. It's kind of funny, like get like Wi-Fi in the mountains.
Oh, well, sure. Yeah, that's an issue. We actually just wrote a grant, and with some input, we're trying, you're familiar with the web portal that we have where you access a lot of this information and the images. And obviously for folks that actual descendant communities who are in remote parts of the Philippines, they can actually access the portal. So
Really?
we're writing a grant to print catalogs so that those could be shared with them, just given the limitations of the internet.
Yeah,
so we'll see if we get that.
That would be great. Thank you. I think we're good with the bunkhouse. Thank you.
Okay.
Actually,
then,
do you mind? You can't touch it, huh?
and I can touch. It's sort of bundled together with this string here.
I was just
So
wondering if it's possible to turn it. I just want to see what if the on the underside. It seems like there's something different.
Yeah. Let me try that. Hold on just a sec. I'll set this iPad down.
I think your image disappeared, just FYI.
Yeah, I turned off the video just temporarily while I set the camera down.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a flat board here. We'll get us back up on. It's the underside there.
Okay.
So it sort of looks like a series of boards that
Yeah.
somehow went together.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay.
And then the other pieces are over here on your list, the ceremonial, the gulang-gulang.
Yeah, the gulang.
These said?
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay. There's this here as well. So I'm just gonna set this here for a second. Let me take the other one out of the bag.
Mm-hmm. Like a rattan and bamboo. Like bamboo, right?
Yeah, it looks like bamboo. You saw it. Some of it, yeah, I think it's bamboo. Some of it might be some other type of wood.
I don't know if you froze, but it's. Oh, okay. There it is.
Yeah, so there we go. So it looks like these are just maybe some sort of wood.
Yeah.
So maybe not bamboo.
Yeah, I don't think it's bamboo. Some kind of other piece, but I realized it might be like a too small one. Let me see. Okay. Thank you.
And then the other one that's similar is bamboo.
That one
appears to be, I think, or I don't know, maybe not. Maybe those are just.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're bamboo actually.
Yeah, they're just wood.
Yeah,
sticks.
kind of wood it is. Oh yeah, thanks for holding it like that. I think that's actually good because of scale. Okay, and that's a bone.
Excuse me. No, it's another piece of like carved wood.
Okay.
Here, yeah, and it looks like it might have like pitch or something at the end here.
Yeah.
Some sort of resin.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one's a little more, I I think the way it kind of the rattan's woven into it so much more like it's. I don't know if it was just kind of done differently than the other one. The other one seems to kind of have just been like twisted around.
Yeah, yeah, it's less. The other one's a little less intricate in terms of.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let's see, and then what do we have next?
I think the pulan.
Tapalan,
Yeah, the pulan. Yeah.
round box. Okay.
Yeah. It's,
I think it's in this bag, so I'll take it out of this bag here so you can see it better. So.
and this one was used too, right? This is kind of used during ceremonies.
I believe so. Some of this, though, too, when they were putting, some of this was put on exhibit, so it looks like, I don't know, some of it looks like it's sort of staged.
Yeah.
So they took the actual item and then they sort of staged it to make it look like it was in use, because they would have mannequins and stuff on a diorama. So,
I was curious about that too, in terms of like, like during those, like whoever donates it or something, do they also give you like images or?
Yeah, they did take photographs. There's also associated with it are all the booster photographs too, are taken around the same time. So this is 628, which is, yeah, the Depalon. So yeah, it looks sort of suspicious to me. Like
yeah, I was curious. The container looks like the can for like oil or something too. But
it does, but it's like a bark actually. So it looks like it's kind of hard to see in the video.
Bring closer. Just I want to see the texture of the container part.
Yeah, so let me go out the outside.
Oh, I see. It's actually not metal. Okay.
This looks like a birch bark, but it's some sort of bark,
Yeah. And there's like an that thing underneath, like the little kind of is that just like woven? Is just kind of holding it?
Yeah, it's
together?
just.
I see. I've seen this too in some other yeah definitely. Okay, that's really helpful. Thank you so much for doing that.
Sure.
And what's the surface inside?
It's hard to tell.
Okay.
It sort of looks like more of the bark, but I'm sort of suspicious. It might be more of like this could be, yeah, I mean, it could be some sort of something that the museum made to make it look like it.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So it's like the original item that was brought back by the anthropologists, and then they sort of modified it to look like it was in use. Because it's sort of, all of these pieces are sort of, they're not movable.
Oh, they're glued. So yeah,
they're sort of glued in there. Yeah.
So they're really like made for a display.
Yeah.
I hear you. No, thank you. That's helpful. And that's bamboo, though, right?
Yeah, bamboo.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. And there's our feathers, because I know they usually like have like a sacrifice like some chickens or stuff with these.
Underneath of it.
Oh, the bottom is actually kind of a weird. It's not a fully closed, so there's actually kind of a wooden. Yeah, like I'm curious about that. I wonder if that's also just something that might have been, like you were saying, for the display.
Yeah.
Okay. No, thank you. That's very helpful.
Sure. It's little pieces of charcoal. Again, I don't know if they're original or not, but.
How does that get, like, I mean, again, this is just my ignorant, like not really having any knowledge of the anthropological methods. Like, how do you kind of, is there like a dating kind of thing? Like when it, like, and I'm assuming when it's donated, it's not really probably when it was from. Like, is that
Yeah, I mean,
carbon dating? Is that still a thing? I don't know. That's what I know.
yeah, if it was made like, hundreds or thousands of years ago, yeah, but something that was, I mean, a lot of this was probably most likely contemporary when it was collected. So you're talking early 20th century. So it was probably made within,
The
a
turn.
year
Yeah.
to 50 years within it being collected. And yeah, radiocarbon dating isn't that sort of fine, have that sort of fine precision to get really specific. Like you have a margin of error of like 50 to 150 years. So it could be like,
Yeah.
1900 plus or minus 50 or 150 years. So yeah, you can't get too terribly precise with that. So
It's not
we
really
just,
accurate.
yeah, no. It's only if you're going really far back in time where,
Yeah.
It's, 1,000 years old, plus or minus 50 years ago or something, 50 years off of that. So.
Yeah. Thank you, Jamie. That's really helpful.
Sure. And then see what ceremonial stone was that?
Yeah. I think.
Big bus.
Let me look at my list. Big bus. Yeah. I think it's like a sharpener actually.
Oh, okay.
I think it's kind of a ceremonial, but I think they use it to sharpen at
Yeah, it
least.
looks like a whetstone kind of.
Kind of, like you kind of wet it, yeah, and then kind of like, but also like I think people use it for protection. Oh, it's actually not that big.
So yeah.
But yeah. There's like markings in there. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then I think there's a couple of headdresses which I can show you, but since while we're here, if you want, there's this rattle that was on your list, the
Oh yeah.
so long.
Yeah, that one, and that's metal, right?
It is, yeah.
Is it possible to touch it? Yeah, I was just like gonna say if you can turn it around, and I just kind of want to see like how it's fabricated. Can you show me the opening on the side? I'm just curious to kind of like if it's possible how it's connected. There's a middle part that's connecting it.
Yeah.
Like a gear, or like
it almost looks like there's yeah, it's like so like you have this hole that goes through. That's essentially what connects it. So if you look at it, the cross section, it's kind of hard to see because there's the rattling metal mechanism in there that's kind of obscuring it, but you can see.
I see it. Yeah,
it's connected in the center there.
Okay. What's that red? Is that just there's a hole that's in, or is that just going through the hole?
So yeah, it's going through the hole and it's tied.
Okay.
So it's just red fabric.
Yeah.
Presumably like a cotton, maybe.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I'm going to set this down and then I can show you the headdresses real quick.
Okay.
So.
Thank you. Okay. And so this is the headgear.
Mhm.
Let's see. Sudong.
So just put a number here. I think it's the
And this
second one that's listed.
this was part of a set, right? Or this is different. This is just the one that's a headgear.
I think it's just the one that's a
Yeah.
headgear. I'm not. I'd have to look to see if it was part of something bigger. I
Um,
don't know offhand.
yeah. Can I ask you to actually come close to the top part where it's kind of like a feather? I'm just kind of
Uh
curious
huh.
in terms of the texture and if they're actual feathers or they're kind of just little. What do you call those?
They're like almost like a, for lack of a better term, like a pom pom. I don't.
Yeah. Kind of like a tassel.
Yeah, tassel. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this looks like hair of some sort, like at the
Uh,
very top. Yeah,
is it
like this is hair, maybe,
silk or hair? Yeah.
and then this is some sort of fabric, the actual tassel part.
Okay. Thank you. And then there's a metal part, right? Like there's kind of like
There is almost like a ferrule or something. Yeah.
to kind of like a
Yeah.
bead, kind of holding it
Uh
together.
huh. Yeah. Underneath of it, I think there are these wooden. There's like a piece of like a wood stick,
Oh,
like a
so
flat
yeah,
wood stick that kind of runs up the top
yeah.
into the fabric, and then yeah, the metal's wrapped around it, and it holds the tassel aspects in
So it
place.
stands up. Does it go all the way down to that like triangular part with the pattern? The stick?
Yeah, I think it goes down to about here. You can kind of see the indentation in the fabric.
Ah, I see.
Same here.
Okay.
And then yeah, I
Okay.
think it ends. Yeah, there's like you can kind of feel it. There's the wood ends kind of right here, and then goes up.
Yeah. And how's the connector? How would you connect it to close it down in the head? Is it like a kind of a just tie it? Is just like just to kind of when one would wear this, I was assuming they would just tie it, right? Or is there some kind of connector on
Um,
the ends of
yeah,
it?
you have this tie like right here
Okay.
that is sort of like it comes down like the tie is kind of right here where it starts,
Yeah.
and it kind of goes up that way. And then there's like a another one right here. So I assume it goes around the top of the head, and then it ties around that way.
Yeah.
There's more of that sort of red fabric on the other side.
Thank you. Um, one more thing. Sorry. Do you
Yeah,
mind
no,
actually like going in the back again? I kind of want to see the
sure.
just like when you like did that back thing. I noticed there is some kind of like, is it a burlap kind of thing?
Yeah, it looks like very sort of burlap like.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm so fascinated. I was like, I wish we can have like even like Datu Makapuko talk about these things too, kind of
Yeah.
um yeah, I'm actually Nicanor because I'm trying to figure out how to again utilize the virtual technologies to kind of again, okay, have that kind of maybe happen and potentially kind of, like create a virtual space and again,
Yeah,
that can maybe happen.
that would be really cool. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a a neat thing to sort of come across. I mean, I was aware of Skype and like FaceTime before all of this, and now with the pandemic, with Zoom so prevalent, it sort of opens up my eyes to what's possible with
Yeah,
connecting with people that necessarily can't come physically to the museum, but
yeah,
are half a world away.
totally. Thank you. And that metal part is actually just like wrapped around, right? And
It is, yeah. It kind of doesn't come together. There's sort of a gap
almost just like
there, but it's
tightened in.
hmm
Okay.
yeah, and it looks like there's sort of like string wrapping around the fabric underneath of it,
Okay.
like thread.
Yeah. No, thank you. That's so helpful. Um, The green, I'm curious, can you come close to that green part that's kind of like a diagonal line? I was just curious in terms like there's like a shiny thing and I'm like curious if that's like a some kind of like shiny material. Is that beads?
Yeah. No, they're actually, oh, yeah, flip around here. It's actually like a metal thread. I'm not sure what
Oh,
kind of metal
okay.
it is, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah. Okay.
kind of
Yeah. Oh yeah, they you actually can see it. It's all just kind of sewn in there.
yeah.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Okay, I think yeah,
Okay.
that's great, Jamie. Thank you so much.
Okay. Sure.
And how is it stored? I'm sorry, I'm just like, is that like a
Yeah.
box?
It's like an older storage box. We would probably make it a little bit nicer today, but essentially it's a tray with a lid that's got this like plastic polyester film, see-through film.
Huh?
So it keeps sort of UV light and dust off of it theoretically.
Hmm.
Um, but it's a
Yeah,
little half made a little half dash. So
it works.
but it works. So yeah.
Okay. What's that small bag? I'm just curious. Sorry, I'm kind of.
Oh yeah. No, this is so. These are pieces of thread that have fallen off of it. So
Okay.
that it doesn't go away. We just sort of store it
Right
with it.
here. Yeah.
Uh-huh. This is another another one. This is camera here. Another sort of tray, and the whole lid is made out of that polyester film. There's two, so they're stacked on top of each other.
I see.
So
Yeah, I'm curious with the hair on the towel. It might be like from horse or cow, right?
yeah, it looks like it's some sort of like horsehair almost, like it's been
Yeah,
dyed red.
because it's different from the other one, but maybe they're just that dyed different colors.
Yeah, the other one was kind of like a straw colored. I mean, hard to say what the original color is because some of the colors aren't very color fast. They'll fade with light,
Yeah.
especially if they were on exhibit. Like some of
Uh,
these things were on exhibit for like 40 or 50 years, and so they were, unfortunately, didn't do well with all the light exposure.
that's actually something I wanted to ask the elders too. And I mean, I'm interested in the materiality, but even just because I know this is maybe from like the turn of the century, maybe kind of curious how like a lot of these materials even um, came to be.
Yeah, yeah. And so that hair that was on the other one, it was sort of kind of very frizzy, and the hair on this is very straight.
Yeah, it's almost like even like human hair.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, this is kind of fine, so it could be
Yeah.
human hair. I mean, it's the
The
horsehair is
connect
usually thicker.
yeah. The connector there, like that metal part, is that still the same one or just this is different, right? It's just a string.
Yeah,
Using it.
these two don't appear to have metal. This is like almost like a pitch
Okay.
or resin that's wrapped with strings. You can actually see the stick.
Okay.
It almost looks like a flat bamboo that kind of comes up through there, and then it's tied to hold it on there.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm curious, like, in the material, because it's like, to me, like growing up, like I recognize maybe like at least the texture, and I could be wrong. It's like from flour, but I don't know. There's like kind of even like sugar, kind of like the white one at least. I don't know if
Uh-huh.
they seem kind of like from that kind of like it's like a sack of where you normally if you were to buy like even like a um like sugar or flour but I don't know if that kind of material even is like accessible from whenever this was or if they had those products then, but I
Yeah.
need to recognize that.
No, that's a good point. And it's possible it could even be hand woven too.
Yeah, I think it is like I think a lot of these are hand woven. Um I think, but that's part of kind of what I'm thinking of like asking the elders. Do you mind if we look at the back?
Sure.
That just the triangular, yeah, like kind of like curious to kind of
Cool.
see how the difference of this one if um compared to the other one.
So it's yeah, kind of that burlappy
Okay.
material again.
Yeah. And then there's a pattern in the bottom. Is
Yeah, there is. It's almost like a
It's a fabric. Like that's
it
kind of,
is.
like a fabric that's been and that's kind of like also like my curiosity, right? Like I'm really interested in how a lot of the cultural kind of overlaps and how the material because I know a lot of stuff also came from either maybe the city or maybe kind of even just the different kind of accessibility to material and wherever that come from
Mm-hmm.
because like I know there's a lot of like relief goods or even just goods in general that were available
Yeah. But yeah, this means like a
but
pre-bought
this
pattern.
is interesting. This part is interesting to me, just because that's not really in the actual like you don't really see this right at all. That's just the back.
That's true. Yeah, it is the back. You don't see it on the front. That's a great point.
Um, yeah. Do you mind getting closer to it? I just want to see the pattern,
Sure.
what that might be, and kind of just want to really. I'm really fascinated with the fact that there is this kind of pattern on this and where that might be. That might also give an idea of where the material might come from. Um, Yeah, I guess it's just like flowers and wonder, but even kind of
Yeah, it's like a raspberry, not some sort of berry, like similar to like a raspberry. Like
yeah,
little.
yeah, which is very interesting. Again, like thinking about where it could be and maybe kind of like a little. Sorry, I'm just like got excited. I felt like a little
Yeah.
detective work.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, figuring out kind of
Okay.
fruit and flower it might represent.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Jamie.
Sure.
Um, and then what the front of that part with the flower, I'm just kind of again now curious and how they. It seems like they just use the red for that, right? Not really the.
Yeah, it kind of comes like you see a little bit kind of coming through as like
Oh, yeah,
the margin, but then it's underneath the rest of it. And then you have all this embroidery on top of the red, this blue and white embroidery
I see.
patterns.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Um, yeah, thank you so much.
Sure. There's this.
And this one is the other one.
Yeah.
These all just headgear, right? Because I saw ones that had the full regalia. Um,
Oh,
but that was
yeah.
this is like the different stuff. They came like separately. Like,
Yeah, this is just the headdress itself. These two, let me see if there's one that has regalia with it.
um, yeah, the stick with this one is also interesting. It seems like it's maybe more like not is that bamboo?
It almost looks like it. I don't think it's intended to stick all the way out like that. I think it's
Yeah,
just happens to be in that
Yeah,
position at the moment.
yeah. It almost looks like kind of like a thicker bamboo, like thin down, but I don't know. Okay, maybe just
That's, yeah, similar to the other ones.
yeah.
So it's like a 1/4 of an inch thick, I would say. And then like a 1/2 inch, in terms of its width.
But this one doesn't have hair. It seems like it's more just kind of
No, yeah, it doesn't. It's just the
tassel material.
tassels. Yeah.
Are there smaller sticks on the top? That this is kind of like a thing. I know they do this in the Kaamulan like festival where they have like actually giant versions of this like headgear. But I'm curious, does it do that kind of prong like there's the stick and then there's a tree prong or you
Oh,
know
I don't know. Yeah, there are little prongs that kind of come up at the top here. There's like,
branch? Yeah,
yeah, branches out. So I don't know if that's
yeah,
the same stick and then it's sort of like carved into the
yeah,
prongs like that, or if it's attached. It's hard for me to
yeah. No, for sure.
tell with all the
Yeah,
tassels.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
Um, can we look at the back and see if
Yeah.
any of those I'm just like curious again with material they're using. It seems like this kind of material they use for bags as well, that top part there.
So it's again a sort of the texture is very sort of burlap like, but it's got a pattern on it.
Yeah, because that's like a lot of like the weaving, this is like a kamuyat or something like a knapsack, that same kind of material they use for this.
Okay.
Um, but thank you. No, that's really helpful. And in the
And this
bottom
is the,
part, just stripe.
this one has stripes.
And then that's just the hand embroidered. Okay.
Yeah, coming through on the other side.
Thank you. I want to like look at this pattern. Yeah. Let me just see. This is kind of like the Bakunawa patterns. Interesting. Yeah, the top patterns is interesting too because it's almost like that the top part one where the head part is. It's almost also like similar to some from the Visayas. These kind of like patterns. But I'm curious about that, like the ties to that. Like I know a lot of the patterns are kind of similar in other tribes. Okay, thank you so much, Jamie.
Sure, no problem.
Sorry, I'm just kind of sorry. I got excited and just kind of.
No, that's fine.
So, I mean, this is great. I mean, for like not the same as being there, but this is great. Just to be able to do this, and I really appreciate it. Okay.
Sure.
Would you say like most of the time they're just in the vaults, or do they get like a? I guess you don't really have to take them out unless there's anybody looking at them, or they have to be in a show, huh?
Yeah, that's the only reason. That's the only time we would ever take them out is if they're going to be for visitors or for an exhibit or for event or program. We do get requests from like some of the Native American tribal groups that we work with, our First Nation groups. There may be specific items that need to come out and sort of be brought out and or taken outside, or just sort of have that human interaction with the items, and we'll do that. But it's not a lot. We haven't had a lot of requests for that, but there's ceremonial items like that they want.
Can they touch it?
Brought out.
Is it things that like they can touch?
Yeah. So if they're coming to visit, they'll come and they'll show us how to fold the items, especially if it's like clothing, or they'll give us instructions since they can't always be there. Like they'll say like once a year, if you could bring this out just to, and have it be out and present and among people, or they'll ask us to feed specific items with like cornmeal or other types of foodstuffs. So we'll, do those.
Yeah.
Honor those sorts of requests.
Thank you. No, that's good to know. So these are the tubes, and that's a caribou horn. Okay. This one is the. Oh yeah, this one is the. This is bleak.
Rattle. Oh, there are a couple of switches too.
Yeah,
Made from human hair, so I'll grab those too.
Okay. Yeah, the polikay. I think they have those. Actually, so this one, the polikay. I'm curious about what material that is. Is it like leather?
It's no, it's a fabric that is kind of darkened from probably from use,
Yeah. Yeah.
from somebody handling it,
Yeah.
because it was sort of a beigey, like a beige type of
Yeah.
colored fabric, and then it's gotten darkened from people holding it. And then this other one is, again, yeah, just a fabric tie almost.
Okay.
That's been tied around the human hair.
Okay. Wow. Can you just run the camera all through the hair? Yeah, I would just kind
Sure.
of to see that if it's texture. Interesting. It's so amazing how hair kind of doesn't really deteriorate, and you can still probably just this is how it was when.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, just because the environment here in the museum is relatively stable. I mean, the relative humidity, the temperature,
Mm-hmm.
And stuff hasn't been moved a lot, and it just sort of stays put. Things preserve fairly well.
Thank you, Jamie.
Sure. You want to look at the tubes next, or?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So this one is the. Can you hold it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering if we can look at the patterns and kind of just maybe kind of slowly. Is it possible to bring it a little closer?
Yeah. Let me. You know what? I'm going to do is set the
Okay.
iPad, and then I'm just going to rotate it here.
Okay. Thank you. And this is it's etched, right? Or is it burned? They're kind of like a.
Yeah, it's a pyro etching, so
Okay.
it'll take presumably like a hot needle.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a really good view right there. Yeah, like that's a good distance. Yeah, thank you. That's perfect. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one. Thank you. Okay. Does this have a cover? Like a thing
No,
to cover it? It's just a it's just an empty
just
thing?
hollow. Yeah, I'm not sure. There could have been a yeah cover or a top
Yeah,
at
because
one
sometimes
point.
they would have, yeah,
There's something in there, like a ball of
a yarn or some kind of a string.
yeah. Let's see. Let me look. It's almost like a not a rattan, but it's sort of a, yeah. It's not thread, but some sort of thick.
Okay. Might just be.
Um, I don't know, sort of vegetable material.
Okay.
Like a twine, like a thick twine or
I hear
like a
you.
really finely split bamboo kind of a thing. Yeah.
Okay.
So to be honest with you, I'm not sure if I'm what is right side up necessarily. If you have any, I mean, this would this be the bottom presumably?
I think that's the bottom. I think they,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, there's a lot of things too that they would put in it. Like, you know, sometimes there's even, I mean, you know, like I would say like, not like narcotics, but they would put even kind of, I don't know, beetle nuts or
Beetle. Okay. Lime.
this one is particularly for that. I'm just like curious too because of the time. I wonder if this is even like it almost feels like a touristy kind of,
It
you
could be. Yeah.
know, like a thing that you can sell to the tourists. Um, but I wonder if
Yeah.
kind of
I
interesting.
mean, this would have been collected by probably Fay Cooper Cole in around let's say like 1913
Hmm.
when he was down with the Bukidnon. That's what the catalog number
Yeah,
is sort of in line with that. I'd have to look it up specifically to see, but so I mean that's not to say that anthropologists weren't collecting things that were
yeah,
sold to
yeah.
sort of tourists, which they certainly could have been doing.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. Thank you so much.
This one has a top.
That one has a top, and then can you open it?
Let me see.
Usually just.
It's on there pretty tight,
Oh,
unfortunately.
okay.
Yeah,
No
so
worries. Yeah,
I'm
I
not
don't.
gonna come off.
Okay. Um, I just like want to look at the top in terms of like that string. It just there's a hole that seems to go into. Okay. Um,
Presumably there's another knot on the other side. It's
yeah,
just
this
really
could
in there tight.
not in. Yeah. And I want to see the pattern that like that pattern in the top with the small one. Yeah, it's very like intricately detailed, and because this just seems so tiny. Yeah, that's really good. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, now I'm curious because there was a bunch of these too. Um, and I know they were kind of more like items, right? For like I would say like um again like you know like for tourists and kind of stuff. But I was just curious. Now I want to know if this is was that crack kind of just like that's a crack, right?
Yeah, it's a crack, probably just from being in the museum environment, you know, coming from a very tropical environment to a very dry, temperate environment, Chicago. It probably wasn't helped. So you can see like right here, it's kind of hard to make out. There's this little pinhole here and here. That's usually a pretty good indication that it was on exhibit at one point. And there's almost like a pinhole here. So presumably they, you know, when they put the pinhole there, that could have like contributed to the crack forming.
Pinhole 4. I
So
mean,
it was, they, you know, obviously don't do this today. Everything we do is non-destructive, but back in the day, they were a lot more, as you can see from the other piece where they sort of made it into almost like an exhibit prop, the ceremonial piece with the fire and the burnt bamboo. They would take little brads and then nail them into the back of exhibit cases so they could display them.
to hold
So
it.
that's what, to
Yeah.
hold it in place. Yeah. So usually that's what that's from. Yeah, you can see a couple there too. So
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. No, that's good to know. Yeah, thanks.
sure.
Um, tubes.
Let's see. And the carabao horn also has a
And this one,
top.
the horn
Yeah, and this comes off. So
comes off. Um, and that's just wood, right? It's not also like.
yeah, just carved wood.
Okay. Okay. And that one, I'm curious about the way it was engraved. Is this, do you think, because I saw the photo and I couldn't tell if it was, because it looked engraved, like, right? Like with
Yeah.
sharp, kind of something sharp.
It's what it looks like to me too. It looks like they took some sort of sharp um, implement and then kind of carved away at it to create that pattern. So, and where they didn't carve is sort of left with a darker center pattern. It's almost like a cross hatching.
Yeah, there is like definitely a cross hatching happening. Yeah, do you mind like slowly turning it? Thank you.
Sure.
So it's all kind of this similar patterns.
And created these sort of faces.
Yeah, can you
faces.
like just like I want to like actually like just hold there. I want to look at it, like, look at the side. It's like very interesting. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, you can continue. Thanks. Okay. Thank you so much.
Sure.
How is it sealed in the bottom? Just wood
It's
too?
almost like looks like, yeah, wood.
You did
Yeah, wood with the horn.
kind of just fit it in there. Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, because they also you use a lot of stuff like with the horns. I know they have some of the handles for some of the weapons and.
Yeah, and just above where I'm sitting here is the armor.
Uh,
Yeah, the carabao.
there it is. Yeah,
Carabao horn.
Okay. 128216.
Yeah.
I was actually gonna ask a question, Jamie. Has any other people kind of, I mean, besides the BSU folks, I want to like maybe I get in touch with those, but has any other like people like work with us specifically the Bukidnon objects that you know of or that I can talk to, contact or something?
Not that I can think of offhand. We've had like a ethnomusicologist in, and she surveyed like all of the musical instruments from the Philippines. That included the Bukidnon, but specifically Bukidnon. Yeah, I think BSU, the BSU group was the only group specifically to come and look. We did have a visiting delegation of I can't think of the name. I can't think of the acronym of the group. They came about a year and a half ago, like in July of 2019, to tour through, and they were all mostly from Mindanao, like Lumad group.
Is that Wawai?
I think so.
And I think
they were touring through the U.S.
Okay, yeah, I think I remember. I think it's Wawai, also like Talandig from the I think like a bunch of artists too, right? I think they were all like,
Yeah, some of them were like Datu and like elders from their communities. And yeah, one of them is a Datu and a lawyer, and you know we were just showing him around and the rest of the group, and he gifted us his headscarf on the spot, which was just like, we don't want to take this from you, but he insisted, so
yeah,
that was really generous of him.
That's amazing. So does she
see other shields next. You want to look at those?
Yeah, please.
What is this piece here? 128625.
This one is the. Is this like a? Oh, and this is.
This is a golang golang.
Gulang gulang. Yeah. That was the
That's one I hadn't seen really in detail yet. I'm not sure if you're interested in looking at it more closely, or do we turn to the shield?
Yeah, no, because I think this one is also more like a ceremonial kind of thing, and I wonder if it's again, like I'm just curious in terms of how it was interesting. This one in the middle, is it like, I'm just curious, is that kind of like a bark? Can you tell what that
Yeah, it's a
leaf?
almost like a leaf. Yeah, almost like a leaf, I would say. That's been
Because I feel
sort
like,
of folded and frozen in place.
yeah, I wonder if this is also like they would burn this and kind of like, like kind of let the smoke kind of like spread it, but I don't know if this particular one is that what that's for. I'm curious. I'm gonna take note of this. Can you look at the handle part, the top,
Just here,
the other part, the other side, the
other side. Oh, I see. You're seeing, yeah.
because it kind of held like it like hanging, yeah. Um, and then that's just tied to the tubes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one I'm curious about this one. Okay. Thank you so much.
Sure. So I'll go get the shield.
Oh wow.
One of the shields.
Yeah, this is so amazing. I'm just like interesting to see this. I know they use some kind of like honey hive or beehive to kind of coat this, right? You know?
Yeah, I'm not familiar myself, but it's got a sheen to it. So, almost like, yeah, it was, like a wax, how you wax wood.
Mhm. Um, and that's just painted the black part.
I presume so. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It looks like it's a,
Just like painted. So interesting, and then it's just connected to the thing.
yeah. See the,
Do you know if in between those cracks there is a material that's connecting it together, or it's simply? I mean, I'm assuming that there is something.
I
Uh,
don't know. I mean, you can kind of see through it a little bit.
yeah, yeah. No, it's fine. Yeah, I'm just curious if you can kind of
Yeah,
tell.
it's a good question. No,
And
it's kind of hard
yeah, and the
to say.
sides are hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, different colors. So there's like a lighter hair, patterns of lighter hair, and then darker hair. So it's like a boar's hair. It's
Yeah.
pretty thick.
Wonder if like that tree is like kamagong because they have this tree which is like ironwood. But again, it's like kamagong and the lugong or maybe some other kind of. Does it say the tree? Do you know? I
I don't know. I'd have to look.
I can look that up in the catalog
Um, let's see.
because it just looks like it might be, but it might just be from the sheen of whatever coating they put into it.
Yeah, it doesn't say. It just says. Oh, it says horsehair, rattan, paint wood. It doesn't give the specific kind of wood. At least not. I mean, it could still be in the documentation somewhere.
Those are holes, Jamie. The dots. Those are just painted white
I
dots.
think those are beads. They're like glass beads. Let me see if I can get a close up where it's
Oh, they're glass.
sort of, sort of washing out with the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
video. But yeah, I think they're just
So
beads
they're kind of
that are
like
embedded in.
woven in, like a.
I think they're just pushed. I think they're little holes and they're just sort of pushed in there. Maybe
I
I
see.
don't see anything
Kind of.
weaving them into place. It's almost like an inlay, but they're like little seed beads, glass seed beads.
Okay, like.
So I put my finger in here and this is a button. This looks like it's a button.
Oh, like a button,
So
like a coat, a jack. Oh yeah, a shirt.
uh-huh, yeah. So this is my finger for scale.
Yeah, interesting. I'm kind of like curious about that, like that whole like, um, yeah. No, thank you. Can we zoom out really quick? I just want to see the circle in relation to the whole like kind of
Sure.
like, okay, this in the so it is in the center.
Yeah.
Wow. Is it possible to see the back of this? Is this
Yeah,
something?
let me flip it around here. So just give me a sec.
Wow. I want to look close at the handle, just kind of how it's connected and how it's sort of. So there's
Sure.
patient
So it looks like it's carved into the actual
wood.
wood. Yeah.
This must be heavy, right?
It's pretty light. Yeah, the wood's pretty light. So I'm not sure if it might not be an ironwood, just because I know that can be a
Yeah,
really
yeah.
dense wood.
How is that connected? That yeah that
This here,
yeah yeah yeah.
I think it's just carved in. I think
Oh,
it's all one piece of
it's just,
wood.
so the handle part is part of the wood.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah.
I see, I see.
So they would have had to plane around it. I don't know, carve it. Yeah, that's a lot of carving.
This might be like how they kind of just carve that or get the shape into them. Okay, I see. Well, because I think like this is just like the separate piece from and then they just drilled the hole where that rope can go into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it comes out the other side.
Is there a metal part like on that top part? Is that metal? Like there's a strip.
Un- like
Not
right here.
handle, the handle, like the
Oh, the
hand.
handle. Oh, that's a good question. No, I think it's just wood. Yeah, it's just the wood.
Oh, it's just maybe carved into. Okay.
Yeah,
No, thank you. That's really helpful.
sure.
Do you mind actually? Sorry, I'm just like, can you hold the handle? I just want to see it in the scale of your hand, how your hand can kind of fit in there, if
Yeah,
possible. Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Um, yeah, this is interesting because I actually also got like, or I have like seen a video of I think it might be from Dean Worcester, one of the this particular kind of shield, but yeah, thank you for that.
sure.
And I go. Um, wow. The bottom part, I was kind of curious. No, the other side. I think yeah, that flap. I was just like wondering. That's just a separate piece, right?
It is. Yeah, that's been you got sort of this rattan tie.
Okay. Okay. I think that might. I think that's like kind of the top. Okay. Thank you, Jamie.
Sure. Is there any other details you want to look at on that one?
I think with that one, maybe just the sides with the hair. I guess I'm just
Yeah,
how that hair is connected. There's a hole, and that might be just like stuck in the hole.
there are. Yeah, there's. Let's see if I can get close up.
I'm just like, I don't know if you can. I mean, you don't have to like the camera, but maybe you can tell me. Do you think that the hair was kind of tied together and then put in a hole, right? There's like a like how it's.
Yeah, it's really kind of hard to tell. I mean, it does all kind of come together in like a little plug.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it was tied. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
sort of.
No worries. Yeah. Thank you. I'm just
I'm
curious.
not sure quite how it's attached. I mean, some of this looks like there's like this incised line that they're pushed into. I don't know if they would sort of split
Ah,
the wood a little bit and then push the hair in.
I
But then
see.
there's other areas where it's just the hair and the wood itself. So they may have just carved like a little slit and then pushed it
I hear
in
you.
there.
I see that. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I think we're good with that. Thank you so much.
Okay, sure.
Can you tell me the number? Sorry, I'm kind of just
Yeah.
write down the number.
So let's see. The number for that one is 128
128.
46463.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Shield. There's two shields that are similar
Okay.
to this. This is the back of it with the handles.
Oh, wow. Interesting how it's, I think it goes, your arm goes into the bigger one and then
Oh yeah, then you grab.
holding this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, you can't see how, because I know it's woven, but I'm curious about that, like where it's joined, is it kind of like woven around the handle part? Um,
Oh,
just curious how
there's
it,
almost like it's tied in, really.
yeah,
It looks like it's tied in.
yeah. Oh, I see. It's not like part of the whole, like the actual.
Yeah. So it's just yeah. And then the other one's got this like metal ring
Mm.
sort of ties into it.
Yeah, I like how it's so interesting. The way that it's woven too, in the center. That center part, that's like wood too, right? Like in the center, that kind of
It
round.
is, yeah, wood, and then there's wood underneath of it, and
Does that wood go so the wood is actually like the whole like solid piece underneath the weaving, right?
I believe so. Yeah,
Kind
not
of-
100%, but I think like this kind of part, maybe part of the part underneath there.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Do you mind like zooming out again? I just want to see the whole kind of back
Yeah,
part of this reveal and kind of wow. And the edging is a different kind of
yeah,
separate. Is it this? It's the same material, but it's just woven differently. Okay. Thank you. Now that's actually great. Thank you.
uh-huh.
Um, but also just the same weaving and like some of like the baskets that I'm from. Let me see. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Can I flip it over?
Yeah, please. That would be great. Yeah. I'm curious if that center wood actually goes. Is this completely separate piece that goes all the way.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh wow. There's a lot of like sort of resin on the other side here.
Hmm. That might be the coating that's just coming off.
Okay.
I think I'm not sure because I know
Yeah.
it's coat it.
Yeah. It looks like it probably was coated the whole thing at one point.
So yeah, I can kind of see the wood now. So this wood is actually wider on this side and that.
Yeah.
And that's a weaving around it, right? Like kind of holes, and you just woven in like in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I see. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Um. Wow. Cool.
So I think this is the tie that comes through that ties the handles
Handles in.
on the other side.
Okay.
Presumably, yeah, there's this metal bit that comes through.
Hmm. How does the edges on the front look? Do they look the same as the back? Do they kind of just go around like?
They do, yeah. There's the
Oh
part
yeah,
where it's separated, so you can see the wood. It's like almost like a wood hoop.
it's a rattan.
That
I think that's rattan.
okay.
Yeah. Um.
So
So it's separate. It's actually just kind of like connected. You think you can see how that part is connected? I'm just curious in terms of like between the outer kind of this outer weaving into that thing. I guess you can't really see, but it seems like it was
yeah,
maybe like connected in some ways.
yeah. I wonder if it's almost like a spokes in a wheel, and then you sort of like
Oh,
wrap. Like this is the rim,
hmm. That
you
may
know, or the tire, and then you sort of wrap it
yeah,
all around. I don't know. I
because
don't
that
know.
kind of weaving looks like it might be kind of doing. It might kind of have that kind of connection to the center. Yeah, like you're right, kind of like in a bike sport or even like a yurt
Oh, okay.
thing. But yeah, no, that's very interesting. Wow. Thank you, Jamie.
Sure.
Um, is that heavy? How would you say the
Uh, hold it. It's not too bad. Um, I would guess
like approximate?
15, 20 pounds
Okay. Yeah.
max. It's not too bad. Yeah, it's pretty manageable.
Thank you. I just want to be mindful that it's already almost like 12:30.
Okay. Do you
Um,
want to
I don't know
schedule
if we
another
can.
session or keep going?
Yeah, I was gonna say we can. I can go until maybe 12:45 today.
Okay, sure.
I need to be somewhere at 1, but then maybe
Yeah.
the rest, if we can't, we can. Is that okay with? We can schedule another.
Yeah. We can schedule another Zoom call.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah, so
we
just
can find another time to do that.
thank you.
Um,
I really appreciate it. I just want to say that.
oh, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's nice to be able to show the collections off again. It's like been this sort of drought of
Yeah.
not being able to do that. So yeah, this is the other one. This one, yeah, similar, different. I know the size is about the same. This one seems a little smaller, maybe not by much though.
And it seems to be in a much more better condition.
Yeah, the back of it certainly is. I have to see what the front looks like, but
Oh yeah, that's also interesting. The kind of the weaving in this one too. Um, wow. Mm. What's that marking on the handle? Is that just kind of
it's like almost like a natural
from the wood?
knot. Yeah, yeah. So it's like a
Yeah, I think kind of like the
whoop,
wood. The wood has
yeah. And you can see that it's tied again into the, so it's just the handles, it's sort of separate piece that's just tied in.
Yeah, totally. Um,
And I don't know if you can really see not hard to see underneath the wrapping
oh
here.
yeah, now you can kind of see. Yeah, like I'm actually interested how like that is joined, or I wonder even if it's kind of a like you were saying, like the spoke, or it seems like even the kind of fat part where it's woven. I wonder if that's a solid piece
Mm-hmm.
all the way through, and how that's connected.
Yeah. Do you want to flip it over?
Yeah, please, yeah, because it seems like the same way they would do a lot of the baskets, some of
It
the
is, yeah. Okay.
basket weaving. Um,
Yeah, this one doesn't have any resin on the outside. It's all plain.
okay.
So
Yeah, no, I'm curious about like the usage of this too, and this is something I want to like ask again some of the elders when I get to talk to them, because I feel like I think for me it's more like the again like creating the distinction, because I feel like especially when they were collected, I wonder if they were either like because that's when that started to have more like decorative items, and again it, I think that's when it people started like making a bunch of stuff intended for sale, or
mm-hmm.
you know
Yeah, yeah.
it's very
Yeah,
sorry,
and
go
you
ahead.
have the U.S. Oh, you have the U.S. military around too. So I mean,
Yeah,
presumably they'll have an interest in buying stuff related to warfare, and
yeah,
folks would be willing to make it
yeah, I'm
to
curious.
sell.
Yeah, curious about that. Oh yeah, you can see kind of a little bit in there too.
A little bit, yeah. It's little peaks. It's kind of hard to kind of get in there though. But
You mind going back to the middle? I'm kind of curious in that gap between like that wooden part, and kind of like how is there a gap, or am I just seeing a shadow?
it's a shadow, so it's like it's about a half of an inch in thickness here. I mean, there's a gap. I mean, it all kind of goes up underneath there, but it's not much of a gap. It's kind of hard to get
Yeah,
up
no,
in there.
that's a great shot. No, thank you. Yeah, it's really helpful. Okay, thank you, Jamie. No, that's
Sure.
um,
Okay. think that was it for shields. I think next up, we looked at the fish traps. There's hemp splitter.
Yeah, the hemp splitter is there, and then also like the cord maker. I don't know if those are close together.
What was the other one?
The cord maker.
Oh, the card maker. Yeah, let me see if I can get that one too.
I don't know. I think this is kind of a, because I know that hemp splitter is a bone, right?
It is, yeah.
Wow.
There's 3 of them here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious about the markings. And kind of it looks like it's been yeah, I guess it's like really interesting. If it's like cow bones, horse bones.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, something like that. It's pretty thick.
They haven't really identified it, right? What kind of bone is it?
I don't. Yeah, it would say on the catalog card. Right now, it just
Okay.
says bone from what I see, but they could have identified it, but
Yeah.
we'd have to see.
Are those markings from that thing, or was that from the museum? This kind of like, it looks like an S or an and ampersand.
I presume they were from, you know,
Ah,
that's how they were collected. I don't think the museum would have done a marking like that. What, what it means, I don't know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm kind of curious too. So there's a hole on that one, but that's the only one that has a hole, right?
Yeah, this is, it looks like a hole, but it's just a dark mark
Ah, I see.
here. I don't see any holes on it, so I don't think they were displayed. Well, there's one here.
Okay,
And on this one, there's one right there. So that was probably on display at one point.
I see. Yeah.
I don't see anything on this one, so I think might have just that one of the 3.
And that one has kind of like on the head part, there is a hole with a string.
Yeah, right here there is.
Was that? Let me. Oh, I was curious. Like that's like a. Oh, that's a string. Okay. I was curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that like interesting because that cross hatching is again there, kind of that's and like in the other and the tubes as well as the carabao horns. Okay, and then this is the cord maker.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested too in like how this was even like fabricated. Like seems like this would not be cut by like a like a sundang or like a what do you call that? It might be cut with more of a tool, but I don't.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's not like a perfectly straight line, so it looks like it was not necessarily sawn, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Let me see. And that's like that kind of U shape on the top. Is that bamboo? Is that rattan? It is kind of like the kind of handle part. Like
Oh yeah, that's it's yeah, some sort of rattan maybe. I don't know.
yeah, but it is some kind of like maybe like a vine even.
Yeah,
Okay.
with thick vine.
Okay. And then it pulls. Okay. Is there kind of an indentation in the middle, right, where that cord or that string is like wounded in? Like, what's that like weird? Like, there's kind of a dark part on.
Oh, like here or
Yeah, like, is that a staple? Is there kind of?
that's so there's like this metal
Ah,
hook that kind of comes up through there
I see.
on this side. Kind of, let me turn it so you can see it better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
I
and
see.
then it's sort of bent on the back here, so it stays in place.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure, no problem.
Maybe I think it might be good to just like stop for now. I feel
Yeah.
it's a good place
Okay.
because I feel like I
Sounds good.
have enough, and I'm just also gonna try to I'm gonna make like some drawings and maybe just to kind of, you know, what I'm planning to do with these kind of objects is again to kind of familiarize more and find more information from them, like
Okay,
with the scientific cataloging, but more like stories. And I'm kind of
that's
trying to reach
great.
out to people who might even have worked with this before, or I'm again, you know, like, but most particularly with the elders, because I feel like they would hold a lot of the information. I think it's just challenging right now in terms of communication.
Sure.
But yeah, I really appreciate you taking this time to kind of show me virtually, and it's so interesting too. It's like, wow, this is like high tech.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is, I mean, it's great to have this sort of, it opens my eyes up to opportunities to be able to do this, even when we're past this pandemic, you know, and people can't physically make it to the museum. We have this as an option to
Hmm.
do these sorts of visits, which is great. So I'm happy to be able to expand what we can do, which is nice. And yeah, if you're able to share stories and willing to do so, we would love
Yeah.
to incorporate them with the collections information. So
Yeah, no, definitely. I would be like wanting to work with you all too, like particularly in terms of like, especially even as you know, like moving forward with the project and just kind of how to like, you know, it's so process based. So I'm again, that's like kind of just gauging how to move forward, but at the same time, I feel like it's important for me to really involve at least the elders, and you know, again, that kind of give them that agency to be able to kind of also have their voice in it, you know.
definitely, that's
Yeah,
great.
I think that is kind of an important aspect that I really want to make sure I'm able to do. And even with getting that kind of blessing, I think it's so important, especially with the nature of the project being more of like an art project, you know. So again,
Yeah, no, that's great.
I really
No,
appreciate.
fantastic. Yeah,
Yes.
no problem. Happy to. So is next Tuesday work, or do you want to just sort of email about some possible dates for when you want to reconnect again?
Next Tuesday will actually work for me if it does for you at around the same time.
Yeah, let's aim for that. If something comes, you know, I have to look at my schedule. I think I'm pretty open that day and I'll be on site. So
Okay.
unless something comes up, we can figure out another time, but let's aim for that.
Okay. I can just tentatively put it in my thing, and I can send you kind of the invite again, and just
Yeah.
confirm if you can. If not, we can definitely pick a schedule that can work for you. Um,
Okay. Sounds good. But yeah, let's for now, let's plan on next Tuesday at the same time and we'll continue on.
okay. Thank you so much, Jamie. I
Sounds
really
good. Yeah, no problem. My pleasure. And we'll talk to you again soon. Okay. Take care. Bye.